Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I want to start by thanking the fans who showed up today. It's, the conditions were not ideal with the weather, but I would say towards the end of that game, they gave us a real boost for that last 30 minutes. So, I think that's first and foremost to thank them. Uh, a game that you saw a lot of new faces, and there was some really, I'd say, high quality moments. Moments that we can build on and be proud of, but at the same time, it's a home match. We want to walk away with 3 points, and I think we probably need to be a little bit cleaner and more clinical in the final third. And I would say not only just scoring chances, but even maybe the pass or two before scoring chances. But a lot of positives to walk away from, and I'll end with sort of this is what we said we want to do, and it's easy to say things, but to go put Wyatt Meyer, go put Matt Corcoran on the field, I think it's something that all Nashville fans can be proud of, and see how see what the future, look into what the future can look like.
Thank you, Coach. We'll go ahead and open up for questions. Wes?
Yeah, on that point of playing the young players, how challenging is it as a manager to build a plan and a backup plan and a third plan all off season, preseason, and you're relying on a 19-year-old, a guy who played 8 games last year in college, and then Ahmed, 4 days into after the signing was announced. How challenging is that as a manager? And what did those guys do generally to reward your faith and earn the chance?
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes from us we're trying to create a club identity, and what you're doing is you're creating. You want to create clarity for the players, and now you want to get to a point where you can plug and play. And I don't think there's young and old. There's, I'll steal a Jim Curtin quote. There's good and bad, and the players are good. And I think you see that tonight. And they know what their role is, and they did well to perform it. And a lot of them were under different types of circumstances, like you said, like Ahmed traveling in, Matt being an 18-year-old. I think the youngest player that's ever played for Nashville, Wyatt. So it's great to see that. And what we're really proud of here at Nashville is to show that there's different pathways. There's different ways to make an MLS debut. It's not just the academy. It's not just a U22 signing. It's not, there's all different pathways, and we want to construct our roster that way. And those guys did a great job tonight.
BJ, you kind of touched on just wanting to be maybe a little bit cleaner in the final third, but it did feel like from the outset that you guys were the aggressors and were able to kind of circulate the ball really well into the final third. What were some things that you liked about what your team did with the ball, and maybe what were some areas that you want to see take a step forward?
Yeah, I thought the control and the build-up was good. The movement was good. I think we were able to get the ball, side to side, open up some spaces, and then kind of play through. We want to be a little less cross reliant. I think we probably put in a few crosses that we might have been able to sustain an attack and try to open up a couple of different passes that might lead us into the penalty box. But again, I think in this game, the attack and scoring goals is sometimes can take a little bit longer to get that connection and that cohesiveness. So something that we'll continue to work on. But again, I think positives, a lot of positive takeaways.
BJ, obviously short notice with Ahmed Qasim coming into the group, being into the subs. I just want to know what is your plan going forward with him, with the substitutions, being, the depth not being there completely tonight. What is your plan with him to experiment, staying out left or keeping him towards the middle? Like, what's the experiment for you?
Yeah, first, we have to be cautious and patient with bringing him along. If he obviously hadn't played after his Europa League with Elfsborg, and we've added a lot of travel and traveling out back and forth to get his visa. So, I think we want to bring him along slowly. But I think tonight he showed that he has sort of the qualities that we were anticipating. For me, it's to deploy him between the lines. I think he has the ability to play multiple positions between the lines, run it back lines, play passes behind the back line, and arrive in the penalty box.
BJ, it's difficult to say that you would have done anything different with other players after seeing what we saw tonight, especially with the young guys. But in terms of course, you would have liked to score one goal and win the game. But in terms of your tactical purpose tonight, how much of that was accomplished by these young guys?
I mean, I think the match plan that we put out tonight, I think the whole team, I would say, executed it. You know, again, it's not perfect, but you know, the ideas were there, and I would, you know, we've been stressing consistent performances. It was consistent, right? Like it was able to repeat itself, and I thought they were able to find some dangerous spots. I thought the young guys showed that they're brave to try to play the ball behind the back line. You know, they're trying to chip balls into the penalty box. So, you know, first and foremost, it's just about being not scared to just get on the ball in a game like that in your first game. And I thought, you know, for me, we want to be a team that wants to be on the ball, and they showed that they want to be players that want to be on the ball.
BJ, you know, you only made 2 substitutions tonight, and you didn't make, you know, and you brought Ahmed in for the first time. That was in the 75th minute. I guess, what were you seeing from, you know, the starting 11 you had on the field that, you know, gave you the confidence to really roll with them most of the night? Was it just you like what you were seeing, or was there maybe elements of just, you know, having a short bench, or I guess what did it come down to?
Yeah, I mean, it just came down. I thought as the game was going, the momentum was going in our favor, and the connections and I would say the connections and sort of the flow of the game was moving in our favor. So I didn't really want to disrupt that too much. Eddie was starting to feel some cramps, so we obviously wanted to not with the substitution rules now. Like if you go down and you gotta wait 2 minutes, so we want to be proactive with that. Ahmed, I think, you know, was an attacking moment subbed with 75 minutes to go to try and push to get a goal. I thought he created 2 chances to help that. So and otherwise, you know, I think there's confidence in the whole group. It was just I don't want to overthink it. When it was going well, you know, there was good connections going on the field.
Yeah, BJ, you talked about trying to create a new club identity. How realistic is it to think that can come together, I guess, in one off season where you're bringing guys back, bringing in new players, and having them all try to play cohesively?
Yeah, it's going to take time. It's always going to be a step-by-step process. I think what we saw tonight was the team had a committed attitude to doing what we wanted to do, and there was some good ideas. I think we still need to get better at being a little bit more consistent and, you know, being cleaner with some of our actions and even more detailed, so we're not giving up certain transition moments and things. So there's details, but I think it's realistic to think that the approach, the attitude of the guys, the commitment of the guys, I think that we can accomplish that. The structure, the details that go into every match, that'll take time as we continue to, you know, build these relationships on and off the field as new guys are playing, and guys are getting, you know, young guys are going to be very much, I don't want to say worried about themselves, but they're thinking about themselves. And then when they become more confident and they get more experience, then they can start to influence others. And I think that's, you know, we'll start to be able to take the next step when the group can also, you know, I would say, influence other people.
BJ, to build off of that, you've talked so much about relationships and ideas and changing it a little bit from how defensive they were to what you're trying to accomplish. So when you get to that clinical last part that we saw tonight that didn't quite get there, is that about the relationships more, or is that about getting more time in your system to get to that clinical finishing edge you have to have?
Yeah, I think it's a feel, right? When you get down into that penalty box area, there's anticipating what your teammate's going to do, you know, having the reps at kind of playing these really intricate, fine sort of passes, and so I think it's just about getting more repetition, getting more time, and getting everybody on the same page, especially when it comes down to the really the make or break moments. But yeah, whether those final pieces come down to like almost sharing a brain between two guys to put the ball exactly in the spot and knowing that the guy's going to arrive at that spot.
Hey, Vijay, talked a lot about the younger group that came in, but I want to ask specifically about Andy Nahar. I thought he had an incredible game. Do you agree with that statement, I guess, first? And then also, what did you see from him going forward as well as defending?
Yeah, I thought Andy played great. He's a guy who's been around the MLS, so he's somebody that from a distance I've watched, and I think he showed some of his great qualities tonight. When he attacks, you can see that he's a difficult person to match up against because he can dribble, take you inside and make a pass, and then he can bring you to the outside. He can play combination play, or he can arrive and cross the ball. So when you're sort of a versatile threat like that, you can find ways to be effective in the attack. Defensively, I thought he did a really good job. It's not an easy matchup that he had tonight. You can see his 1v1 defending is strong, keeps guys there, and then I was really, something that we've been working with him on, that he's been really receptive and he's been working on his own game, is the connection on the weak side in the penalty box. I think he had 2 or 3 balls on the back that he was able to kind of flick out of danger, and I think that's a area for him to improve, but an area that he showed tonight that he's focused on and is mindful of.
We'll go to Batman with last question.
And you've talked a little bit about Wyatt, but I just kind of wanted to get more of your thoughts on him. I know he's a guy who's been in preseason with you, but the signing was just announced recently. I know he's mostly played at center back and played in midfield. That ball he had over the top to Hani on the goal that got disallowed did not look like a center back. Just what did you make of him, his performance in his, I guess, first professional game?
Yeah, I mean, first with Wyatt, he soaks in so much information. He's a really tactically smart guy, and you can tell him, or you can show him a clip, and he can apply it the next day. And that's a ball that we like to play. We want to play. We've showed him clips of that. We've trained it. And now you can see him execute it. But you're right. He's a guy, I'll self-admit, that I didn't know a whole lot about before preseason. He had been sort of drafted before I got here, and what we saw was a really versatile player. And in preseason, he's played left back, left center back, and center midfield. But it's a testament to him to be that versatile. And a lot of times that versatility is what will get you on the field. And then when you get on the field, you make the most of your opportunity. And I think tonight he made he made the most of his opportunity.